Hi guys, I'm Beth and this is Read Remark, and today I'm going to review a book called An Anonymous Girl by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. Thank you for joining. My name is Beth. Today we're going to look at the book An Anonymous Girl. This is a new one coming out on January 8th. By Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. Many thanks to Netgalley and Macmillan publishers for letting me have an ARC preview of this book in exchange for an honest review, which this is. An Anonymous Girl starts with, well, an anonymous girl. Her name is Jessica, and she is a makeup artist in her mid-20s trying to make it in the big city. We get these glimpses to kind of a traumatic past, a falling out that she had. She works now freelance and is largely isolated and alone. She applies, or actually kind of sneaks in on a study that's being run by Dr. Lydia Shields, a very strangely attentive to detail psychologist who wants to study about ethics. The questions that Dr. Shields gives Jessica get more and more detailed as the study goes on, and the relationship between the two women becomes more and more blurry. Blurry, I guess, might be the right word. And blurry in a way that the ethics of the very relationship and the ethics of the questions that are being asked of Jessica and then the actions that are being demanded of Jessica become increasingly unethical themselves. Is it part of a study? Is there some personal vendetta going on? I'm not going to tell you here because I don't want to spoil the book, but a lot of lines get crossed and a lot of lines get rubbed out altogether, so you don't know exactly where the line is. It's interesting and intriguing. Now, Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen wrote another book which I reviewed with sort of middling results called The Wife Between Us. I wasn't too crazy about that book. I thought that it had too many forced twists and turns. I thought it was written kind of too forcefully towards a bestseller formula that they knew would kind of hit these certain X's in order to produce a best-selling work of fiction, and they succeeded. It just seemed kind of forced. It seemed forced, The Wife Between Us did. Still a good book. When I reviewed The Wife Between Us by these authors, I gave it a solid 3 stars. It was enjoyable, but also had some faults that were really hard to look past. I would give the same rating to An Anonymous Girl as well, a solid 3 stars. It was interesting, it was intriguing, but it also had some really heavy faults that are hard for me to see past. The main one is the point of view of Dr. Lydia Shields, which is just, ooh. So one thing I do when I'm writing like reviews or anything else is I have to work really hard to get rid of any sort of passive voice. It's an ongoing battle, and it's not like I'm a passive person, but it's really easy to slip into accidentally these passive phrases. For example, the ball was dribbled instead of she dribbled the ball. And so the authors try so aggressively to stick to this second person point of view that they do with Dr. Shields. She's constantly saying, you turn the page, you look at the screen, you do all of this, that they want to avoid her saying the word I at all costs. Every now and then they slip and let her say things like my meal or my moisturizer. But any sort of reference to herself in the first person, such as I, is strictly verboten. And so to make that happen, they have to be very oddly passive in how they phrase things. Another thing is that they focus too much on the minutia. So Dr. Shields is watching Jess take these questionnaires and paying attention to everything, like her mouth creases in consternation at this question, or she is pacing 20 steps and then she turns and paces 19 and a half steps more. I'm exaggerating, that's not a quote, obviously, but that's kind of the level of detail that they put into this book. I'm going to read you a quick quote that kind of exemplifies both of these things put together, both this passive second person point of view voice and this ungodly amount of attention to detail. After the lights are extinguished on the main level and the stairs climbed, a lilac-colored silk nightgown and matching robe are selected. Night serum is dotted around the eyes with the gentle touch of a ring finger, then a rich moisturizing cream is applied. I mean, come on. Can't they just say, she got ready for bed? Do they have to go into this much detail about every step she takes to get ready for bed? And do they have to do it in such a passive voice? A moisturizer is dotted around the eye with the ring finger. How about she put on moisturizer? It makes me insane. Probably more angry than, you know, regular normal reading people would get. But me personally, I think it triggered my anger reading reflex. You know, if you're reading something like American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis and going into the mind of Patrick Bateman, this level of detail to someone's getting ready or going to bed does make sense because it really exemplifies the character. And in that example, he goes a lot more into the pathos and the extreme narcissism and superficial focus that the character has. This doesn't really exemplify Dr. Shields at all, other than the fact that she likes to wear nightgowns and put on night serum. I mean, that's not really a big deal. It doesn't let me into her inner workings any more than I already am. It's almost like filler, much like many of the ingredients within a night serum. So here's the thing. I obviously have some issues with this book, but I still enjoyed reading it. You know, I think there's something to be said for authors that you don't necessarily love everything about the book, but they still offer enough of a nice, juicy, pulpy plot line that you'll still come back to it. And I feel like Sarah Pekkanen and Greer Hendricks are that author for me. I don't necessarily love everything that they do within their books, but as a whole, I like the books enough to keep coming back, and so I'll probably read their next. And these books seem to be doing pretty well. I hear that The Wife Between Us has been optioned to be turned into a movie. So, you know, I don't have to absolutely love everything and give it a standing ovation in order for it to be a worthwhile book. How about just, I like it well enough? And hopefully that doesn't mean that I will be disapproved for any future arcs that they put out. So we'll see how that goes. I like it well enough. So let me know what you guys think of it. Am I completely wrong about letting the second person passive point of view bug me so much? Or more likely, am I completely right and everyone who disagrees with me is completely wrong? Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I love it when people disagree with my book reviews because it gives me some nice discourse to kind of think more about the book. So I'm rambling now, so I will shut up and just say thank you for watching. As always, if you like the video, then give it a like, give it a subscribe, all that wonderful other BookTuber stuff, and I will catch you all next time. Thank you. Bye. If you like the video,